said
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But I don't remember,
Well,
tell us about when you were growing up, you know, when you were little in Decatur.
Okay. I wrote it on that page.
I want to hear it.
Well, we lived at 1404 East Leafland Avenue.
You remember that?
Yeah.
God.
And we lived across the street from my grandmother, Mama's mother. And Aunt Nellie had a beauty shop in her house. In the back of her house, she had a little place back there. They had a basement, and it was a three-story house. It had an upstairs. Of course, it had to be with that many children, that many kids. Yeah, they lived there. I guess they had moved there from Riverside. Mama was born in Riverside,
Illinois.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we lived there till we moved to Tuscaloosa when I was 5 years old. And Daddy got a job at Gulf States. And we came down here on the GM&O train. But you wanted to know something about what we did in Decatur. We had a nice house, but it didn't have a bathroom. We had outhouse out in the
Up north, they had an outhouse.
Oh yeah, and Harriet.
Thought that was only a southern thing.
The only reason I remember it.
You don't think they had to go to the bathroom too?
I don't know.
The only reason I remember it, Harriet fussed about her having to take me to to the outhouse. But Daddy, while we were still living there, Daddy built a bathroom in the house, and he wired the house. He was real good at all that kind of thing. And it didn't have any electricity, and he wired it. I remember that.
Good night.
Yeah, and he put the bathroom in there. And then when we moved to Tuscaloosa, they sold.
You remember when before you were 5 years old? You remember that?
I remember one thing that we did. Mama made one of our neighbors, a German family, made them a pie. I don't remember what kind it was, but probably an apple pie. But she asked us, or had Harriet and I, to take it over to her, and we were just little things. And we dropped it on the sidewalk before we got to the street.
Did you get a whipping?
No, I don't remember that. I don't think so.
I think I'd have whipped you. What about like Christmases? Do you remember those when you were little?
I remember when we were in house. We lived on 13th Street and West End.
West End.
Well, we got into stuff on the one on 13th Street when Mama was gone, and they, I guess, out shopping someplace, and she had a trunk at the foot of her bed, and we were curious, and we got in the, we opened the trunk and found dolls and high chairs. I remember the little high chair I had, and Harriet too, and we had little suitcases, and we found all that.
Oh. What about Buddy? Did he grow up in West End too? I mean,
Oh yeah.
he was there then.
We moved over there. We lived on 13th Street, and I went to school at Stafford, where the Stafford Arms, I guess is what it's
that
called.
apartment.
It was Stafford School there, and your daddy went to school there too. And I'm not sure how far he went. I only went 1 year. Or Harriet went 1 year, I guess. Yeah, and then we moved to West End.
Well, now Daddy came from Amory, Mississippi. Their family did.
Yeah.
And they lived in West End too?
No, they lived in Calton.
Oh, okay.
You've been down there, haven't
Yeah.
you? See where they lived, yeah.
When did you meet Daddy? How did you meet him?
At the park in West End.
Really? So you knew him for...
This friend of mine had a boyfriend that was James's friend, and they came over to the park one night and took she and I down to what used to be Pure Process on where River Road is now.
Mhm.
And,
Well, that thing was around a long time, wasn't it?
got ice cream and
What, how old? Now, I know that I remember Daddy saying that y'all used to go swimming over at, University in that area over there, that, whatever that place was, right by the university. There was some kind of
oh, Riverview.
yeah.
Oh, it was a cold pool. It was the only really pool in Tuscaloosa at that time.
I thought it was a lake or something.
No, there was another one that I've got a picture of that was Stallworth Lake.
Yeah.
We went down there.
That's what I remember y'all talking about, Star.
Yeah, but we swam there was a creek over on Harbor Road where we went swimming, and Harriet almost drowned in there. Somebody threw her in, and she couldn't swim. She never did learn how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still there. The creek is not there anymore. They put rocks, lined it with rocks.
You talked about gifts and stuff at Christmas. Let me back up a little bit. Did Grandmama decorate and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Put up a tree?
Yeah, I don't remember, decorating anything else, but we had a Christmas tree. I remember, only thing I remember about Christmas is, or your daddy always talked about, that they didn't have anything but
Yeah, he said they were
oranges and
apples and
nuts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess we got, well, like I said, we found those things. I know it, we had those three things. I did, and Harriet too. And I don't remember about Buddy, but and later I remember a bicycle that all I wanted was a black bicycle, balloon tires, and I got it. And it was beautiful. And the only thing I remember about it was that it had to be put together, and we were up, real early, and Daddy didn't want to put it together that early. I guess he didn't want to get up. Anyway.
Maybe you didn't believe in Santa Claus?
Well,
You don't remember?
apparently not.
Poor Santa.
When I got my bicycle, Harriet got a watch.
Well, she probably liked that.
Yeah.
She'd rather
She
have
did,
a
that's
watch.
what she wanted.
Yeah. Let's see. Gulf States. Granddaddy came down here to work for Gulf States.
Mhm.
And you told me before that he was not salaried. He was
He worked
hourly.
Yeah.
And so even
He
during
could
those
have
years,
been, but he didn't want to be because he worked a lot of hours extra, and he wouldn't have gotten paid for that.
So y'all had plenty of money. Not plenty, but you
Yeah,
had enough.
we did. And,
Y'all had more than
yeah,
most people
we
during
did.
that time.
We really did, and that was during the Depression,
Mm-hmm.
and but we didn't know that there was a Depression. They shut the mill down at, I'm not sure what year it was, but he worked the whole time. He painted one of his boss's houses over in the Alka place, and big 2-story house. I mean, huge house. I don't know how he did it, but
Softball. Now that was a real important part of your life.
yep.
When did you start playing softball?
In 1937,
How old were you then?
15.
Oh.
I think. Was it 13, 31?
Y'all went, tell me a little bit about it, because I remember y'all
Well, we
went.
started with this man that was Elizabeth Ball's daddy.
I didn't know that.
He started it, but he didn't
Did
last.
she ever play?
No. They just lived about, everybody stayed at the park, and, that was where we.
Oh, y'all did, huh?
Yeah.
Hang out.
Yeah. And he just, you know, I guess it just got a bunch of girls to start playing. And
So all those ladies or girls grew up in West End area?
no,
Oh, okay.
not all of them. There were some that we were in school with, and I think Nellie and Dorfane had a cousin that played with us. She ended up playing with us, but we had a lot of different ones. We had, there were, to begin with, I guess there were more around, you know, the neighborhood. Me and Nellie and Dorfane and Virginia Taylor was one, and there were more, I guess, away from there. Excuse me, away from there than there were, you know, right around there.
A lot of those were lifelong friends, and
Oh, yeah.
how many of those are still alive now?
None of them.
Frances Logan.
Yeah, she played a little bit. Her name was in our paper about one time.
What was that other Frances's name?
Frances Ray.
Yeah. She was kind of.
She lived in Carlton.
She was kind of boyish looking.
She was a lesbian.
That's what I thought.
Lesbian.
Don't say that on there. All right, now, Daddy, when so you knew him for a long time. You sort of grew up.
5 years.
Yeah. When did he ask you to marry him?
When he came home from the service, or just on a.
So he was already in the service, and he came home. I see. I thought
He was in the National Guard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You remember the first kiss?
No.
You don't?
No, I really don't.
She remembers her, Christmas stuff, but she don't remember the first kiss.
Nope, I really don't.
Okay. All right. When Daddy asked you to marry him, did he ask Granddaddy for your hand in marriage?
No. I don't think so. If he did, I don't remember.
I don't remember you ever telling me about the wedding. Did y'all get married? Did y'all ever get married?
We went to Mobile. Reba and Myrtle, or rather Reba and Bill, were living in Mobile, and we didn't have a car. James didn't have a car, and we went down there and got married in a minister's house. His name was Lamar Spencer.
Oh, she remembers that. I can barely remember Joe. What's his name? That married us 20 years ago.
It was in their house, and Reba and Bill was her husband. No, Clyde Kitchens was her husband then, and they were witnesses.
What about your honeymoon? Did y'all just stay down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember how many days we stayed. But your daddy got sick that night. We went from getting married to went out to eat, and he got sick in the restaurant. Had to go outside. He went out. I remember him going outside and throwing up. And,
Nice way to start, huh?
Yeah. I don't know what was the matter, but I sent Mama a telegram and told her that he got sick. But
Yeah, they didn't have telephones. Well, they did have some telephones back then.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. But
They didn't have TVs,
they
though.
didn't have cell phones.
Or cell phones,
Or
yeah.
TV either.
Can you believe that life without TVs?
Yep. We did a lot of other things.
What'd you do fun? What'd you do for fun? And
Well, gosh,
I know you played ball.
We'd
but-
get out in the street and play kick pin and football. I remember playing football, and I remember one time riding my bicycle and Harriet never did learn how to ride. I remember one time.
She didn't learn how to ride bike.
Huh?
She didn't learn how.
No. And she could skate. We did have a skating rink here, and Daddy and Aunt Alice both.
I thought I
were
remembered
good
you saying they
skaters.
could skate.
His daddy ran a skating rink in Taylorville, Illinois.
Who's Daddy? Oh, Taylorville,
Daddy.
Illinois.
Daddy's
Okay.
daddy.
I thought
Yeah.
you meant, okay.
No.
All right. Okay, let's see. Now,
But Daddy he and Aunt Alice both could skate backwards. They were real
well, when y'all
good.
moved down here, did Aunt Hollis move down here too? Or was she already here?
No, she wasn't here then, but they moved here.
She worked at Gulf States.
Yeah. She and her friend Lola that she lived with.
Was she strange?
I don't think so.
Okay.
She had men friends.
She did?
Yeah, she dated.
Okay.
Some, I mean, she didn't date a whole lot, I don't think. She almost married one, but I don't know what happened. But she dressed up all the time. I mean, wore high heels and
Yeah?
yeah, yeah.
Well, we just always thought growing up she was a little odd. I mean, you know, but anyway. All right.
Well, now Lola was. I mean, she had her hair cut like a man. Look at there.
All right, Daddy went into the National Guard, and y'all were not married at that point.
No.
When
I
was he
working-
drafted?
I was working at Cress's, and they had a parade downtown, and they were going. I guess they walked all the way to the gym, and not gym, no, the AGS station. That's where they left from. Everybody was crying, and they closed the doors at Christmas so we could go out and, watch them, and it was.
All right, was he drafted
No.
to go into the Army? He
No.
went in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I think that Jimmy was born when Daddy was in the service, right?
Yeah.
And he came home. How old was Jimmy then when he
He
came
was
home?
a year
from
and a
service?
day old when he got home.
What was it like while Daddy was gone for you?
Well, we just
Were
had
you
our
scared?
friends and just, lived with Mama and Daddy and Harriet. Virgil was gone too.
Did y'all hear, since there wasn't any TV or anything, were you able to keep up with any news or anything like that? With what was going on in the
Radio.
war? Yeah,
Was all.
the war.
I mean, like I remember when Pearl Harbor was bombed. I remember that being on the radio. I also remember the day that FDR died, where I was. I was downtown. We used to go up there and park and watch people go by. And this friend of mine was Neil Townsend was parked up there, and I saw her, and she's the one that told me that he had died.
Well, let's see. Daddy he was in Italy. Was he in France?
Yeah.
And
Germany.
Germany? Where else?
Well, he went in on 7 days after D-Day, but I mean, he was in maintenance, motor maintenance, and that's the reason he was, that late going in.
Now, I remember you talking about Salina, Kansas. Did
Yeah.
you go out there you went out there with him?
Salina.
Salina? Okay. Was there any other tours that you were able to go on? I mean, when
I went to
United
Columbus,
States?
Georgia.
Okay.
That was the first place we went. He was over there in motor maintenance school. He had gone over there to take his first lieutenant's training, and but we weren't married then, and then he went back after we got married. And that's the first place we went. Columbus, and we lived over there about 3 or 4 months is all.
Now, when Jimmy was born, you told me stories about him being real sickly at first. You remember anything specific?
Oh yeah, he had to go to the hospital one time, and Dr. Tyler came to the house to see, what was the matter with him. But that wasn't when he went to the hospital. He went to the hospital. He was about 5 years old when he went to the hospital, and but he did go to the hospital earlier too, because I remember she said, don't let him have, you can't bring milk to the hospital. They had to feed him, with what they had, and he wouldn't take their bottles, and so they finally,
Let you bring
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Something just dawned on me. I remember, I just had a flashback in my memory of me and grandmother, and I guess Jimmy, sitting at Northington Hospital out in the parking lot when the baby died.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You were at Northington
Yeah.
having the baby, and
Mm-hmm.
the baby died.
You remember that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, but
Yeah.
you were not very old.
Guess you sort of remember things like that,
You remember after I went home and the Smiths came to see me, and all Nellie and Dorphine and Eloise and Nell, I can see them in my bedroom now. Yeah. And the Smiths came down, and
Yeah.
I have a picture of her. I mean, a picture in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Daddy went to work for the fire department, and he worked at Dr. Pepper Bottling Company at the same time, didn't he? And then
Well, he worked at the Dr. Pepper plant before he left,
to go in the service.
and did roofing and
Huh. He was industrious, wasn't he?
Yep.
And then didn't he work at a service station too?
Yep. He had 3 jobs at one time.
Yeah. I remember we used to worry about Daddy being a fireman, when we were young. And there was one time when over on 15th Street, some big fire. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, the lumber yard.
The lumber yard, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember exactly
It's
what it
across
was.
from where we live in Parkview.
Yeah.
Roper, I think it's Roper Lumber Company.
We were scared to death. I remember that.
I went over there and spent the night, with,
Helping get them drinks and stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Me and some other wife, I don't
Ladies.
remember who it was. Yeah.
When we lived in Eastwood, we had a blast growing up.
Oh.
Yeah. Tell me about some of your memories there with that time during our lives.
Well, I remember started out on a Monday morning. I guess I'd have started out on Sunday, though, because that's the first day of the week. And going, taking you and all of y'all to Sunday school and church, and your daddy would go fishing. And I finally told him, that was not the time to go fishing. Finally got him going, too. And
Y'all used to play bridge. I remember you and some of the ladies would play bridge, and you'd be playing bridge in the afternoon
outside.
when we were coming home from school.
Mhm.
And we'd always see y'all out there. And I remember our house in Eastwood and pretty much everything about it. Funny.
Yeah, I remember when we moved and you cried your eyes out. Well, we went to see it
Yeah.
after a while, and you cried like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll probably cry right now.
It's still there where
I love that house.
it's
We had
still-
so many good memories there.
you ought to go see it again. I don't know what it would look like now.
Daddy built onto that house, I guess, and I don't know what year it was. But I remember Jimmy getting the cakes out of that cabinet that he had made. Oh. Jimmy
Yeah.
squashed the little what do you call those, little Debbie cakes.
No, they
He would-
weren't. They weren't Little Debbie. They were.
There was some kind of no,
they
they
were
weren't Little Debbie.
chocolate with a white filling.
Yeah. He got the best one. He always did. One with the most icing.
He'd say, "I went and got them, so I."
We would walk down to Peyton's Drug and or either the grocery store, whatever, York's.
Well, I took you in the wagon a lot of times. Pulled you up there in the wagon. Don't you remember that?
I don't
Yeah,
remember
both
that.
of you.
Lots of good times there in that
That was
neighborhood.
before Kay was born, of course.
I'm gonna cry.
Yep, we bought groceries and charged them for a month.
I remember charging stuff at Peyton's Drugs too,
Yeah, I guess we did.
Moon pies. Well, we didn't charge moon pies. We what were they, like a nickel? Seems like they were a nickel or something.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't know how much they are now. Probably $1.
Holiday Beach, that was a fun time in our lives.
Oh, yeah.
And that was before we started. You may not have got Daddy going to church regular till after that, but I remember going to Holiday Beach and dancing and swimming and.
Oh yeah, we had a good time. We got movies of that, you know.
Yeah.
It's on the VCR.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. That'd be fun.
Well, I'd have them put on a DVD.
That's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Marvin's mother would make chocolate cake, fried chicken, open a can of beans, and potato salad every Sunday. We'd go down there. Well, it wasn't every Sunday. It was
Not every Sunday.
It was quite a bit. And then she started us going to church. Church was a big part of our lives.
Well, we
growing up.
probably went to church in the wintertime and maybe just you know, we didn't do that every Sunday because your daddy wasn't off every Sunday.
Yeah.
He had to work some
don't
Sundays,
remember.
a lot of Sundays.
I remember going there a good bit.
Yeah, we did.
But the church was a big part of our lives.
Oh, yeah.
First Christian Church. We made a lot of good friends there, and they were lifelong friends. And,
Yeah.
But do you have any specific person or family that made a big impression on you from that church?
Well, Oviatt Bowers, I always admired him, and I mean, he was one of the main ones. He's the only one I can really think of that.
You used to make cakes and carry them over to Oviatt's house and some of the other people in the church, and that has made a big impression on me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he liked that lemon filling, you know. What's the name of that cake? Oh, I used
7
to.
Up. Is that not the 7 Up
Yeah,
cake?
7 Up cake. I used to make cakes and pies too, and take them to Ms. Batch, Mr. and Ms. Batch. And I remember, you know, she brought me, or she told me one time, she said, I'm gonna make you a pineapple pie and bring it to you. And I thought, oh my gosh, I never heard of, you know, of a pineapple pie. And but we're still using that recipe now. It was mighty good.
Yeah, I use
Wish
a
I had
lot
some
of
right now.
a lot of your recipes now.
Yeah. I need
Handed
to
down.
redo my recipe book. All mine, some of them I can hardly read.
Well, yeah, they've been there forever. You went to work at Sears. I remember when I was probably in junior high. I was about junior high age, something like that.
Kay, I think, was in like 4th grade.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
Kay's
you
8
were in
years
junior
younger
high
than
and
me.
Jimmy was in high school.
I
I was a PTA. I put that in that thing. I was in a PTA
mother.
mother in all
Room mother.
in all 3. Yeah, room mother in all 3 schools at one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Did Granddaddy had any arthritis?
Yeah.